My name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. I want to speak to you today about truth. You see, that is a state of consciousness that is divine. It can only be grasped by the subconscious mind, the non-dualistic mind. The mind of what is. It is the mind of God. It is the mind of creation. It is the mind of truth. Truth is self-revelatory. It speaks for itself. It stands on its own. It reveals itself and cannot be countermanded because it's non-dualistic. It is what is. It is the truth. It is God. It is the act of creation that lies within each and every one of you in your subconscious mind. But your consciousness has been hijacked by Satan. And thus is created the tree of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, which substitutes itself for the truth of the subconscious mind. That is the dualistic intellect that you, a civilized man or woman, or I should say person, because once you step into your civilized mind, your intellect, your consciousness has been hijacked from the non-dualistic truth of what is into the dualistic level of consciousness of conflicted what should be. It introduces the artificial regions of the future, which is strictly illusory, and the past, which is dead, based in memory, based on ideas and concepts that you hold to be truth. You see, you are worshiping a false god, the graven image of Satan. When you live in your conscious intellect, you will note how that has come about. It comes about through conditioning when you came into this world a holistic human being and instantly were assaulted by the subconscious beliefs of your parents, who were they themselves satanically mind controlled, and that's all they knew. So they followed the rules and regulations of the satanic system of duality, and they sent you to schools, institutions of mind control, satanic mind control, which thrust you into the realm of belief, thrust you into the realm of illusion. Your consciousness had to be bended by coercive tactics in order to create the illusory system of intellectualism. And that became the kind of mind that has been worshipped by each and every one of you. How is that done? It's done by false pandering, creating the illusion of wonderment, and that your mind must bend to that in order to be successful in this world that you find yourself in that is dualistic, full of conflict, full of confusion, full of pain. You cannot be relaxed. You must strive. You must fight for every inch of understanding that is bent by concepts, by illusions, by myths, by beliefs. You see, belief is the indication that you are in hell. It creates the illusion of truth, and truth can only be found in the non-dualistic mind, the mind of God. The mind of what is, the mind of truth, of love, of cooperation, because there is no two, there is no duality found in the non-dualistic intellect, non-dualistic mind. You must be in your dualistic intellect in order to be confused. Be quiet within yourself and ask yourself the question, is my mind quiet? Is my mind clear? Do I understand what I am doing in this world? Or am I completely split in consciousness? If you are truthful to yourself, you will answer that you are. You will answer that you are confused, and you must make up your mind before you act in order to be clear. And many of you never come to that point of clarity. That posits the level of hell that you find yourself in. If you will note that this Christ only speaks truth, and it takes the form of simplicity. There are no systems necessary to live in truth. If you are following a system of thought, an economical system, for example, political system, a religious system, the corporate systems, the banking systems, you're in hell. No question about that. Now, this living Christ, you will note, speaks from the depths of his subconscious mind, the mind of truth. He's simple. He's direct. He's unshakable. He doesn't care whether you believe him or not. Because if you do believe, you're still in your conscious intellect, which is satanic, and nothing has changed. The transition from your intellect to the subconscious mind is a very clear step. It happens when you stop the momentum of your intellectual mind, the mind of illusion. You stop its chattering, and you become completely quiet. In that quietness is the infiniteness of truth. There is a void that appears to be empty, but in that empty void exists all possibilities. We are said to operate to only 5% of our brain, you see. Well, the 95% remain quiet, unused. Well, the Christ state of consciousness is the holistic 100% of the infinite. Sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? How can one be in tune with the infinite? You see, that's a dualistic question that must be resolved. And the fact is, it can't be resolved, because if you're thinking about it, you're still in your dualistic mind, and you're in hell. So many of you will not accept what I have said, even though I speak very simply, very direct, and no one who rules in the satanic hell of the intellect has been able to countermand this living man of truth, this Christ, this simple man of truth. Not the government, no religion, because I have transcended that level of dualism and operate in my dualistic mind only to communicate with you. You who are lost in your intellects and therefore condemned to a life of hell, to a life of confusion, and you believe that that's what's normal. It's normal for you. But certainly I have proven that it is not normal for me, because I have put that to the test with man's law. And man's law has backed down. That is the proof of everything that I say, because it cannot be countermanded. If you are a living man, you are the creator of government, and you are the creators of banks and corporate structures. You are the creator of your own hell. You have created it through your beliefs, you see. But it has no effect upon a man who stands in truth, in non-dualistic what is, and therefore cannot be countermanded. I was convicted, not I, but the artificial person that was created by the institution, the satanic institution of government, through birth certification, to be the person, Raymond Ronald Karczewski, whose name is spelled in all capital letters. You see, that's not me, never was me. And I held to that throughout the process of their convicting that artificial person to a threat of 40 years in prison. And when it came time for sentencing, I refused to accept their contract, which is what it was, a contract, that's all. An offer was made of 40 years. Had I remained silent, that would have been taken as consent, and I'd be in prison today. But I did not accept that offer. I challenged them to prove that they had jurisdiction to make such an offer to a living man, and they could not. As a result, they released me with no charges over my head, this living man, even though they convicted the artificial person that they created. Now that's the satanic trick that is put upon thousands and thousands of people who are now in jail because they were conditioned to think in such limitations. They were made to doubt themselves, and thus they became slaves. You became slaves. Just about everyone I'm talking to right now is a slave. Oh, you are prideful slaves, and you believe that you are living men, but you are not. Because if you were, we would have a different world, would we not? We would not have false authority, satanic authorities of government and religion, and followers like you who say, yes, yes, I believe. I believe. The belief is a counterfeit truth. You see, that's a fact. It's merely an illusion, an idea, a concept that you worship. If you are in the process of worshiping illusions, your life is created in the form of an illusion. And that life is called civilized life. And you're in hell. Now, you have watched so far and heard so far the words of this living Christ. Look at that man. Look at his eyes. Are they furtive? They're very clear. They're very stable. The eyes are the windows of the soul. And you can see the words and from where they are coming from in this living man. That's simplicity. That's what truth is. It is unshakable. You don't have to believe it. It stands on its own. I'm sure you're affected by it. I am sure of that. Now, how you deal with that surety, with that clarity, will dictate to you just how confused you are. And you will try to destroy the discomfort that you feel as a result of looking at this living Christ and hearing the words of truth, of non-dualism, the simplicity. You can't avoid it. You see, you, too, are a living man, but you have been subverted into being a person, a dead, fictional person, created by the fictional institutions that you have created, because you are the source of all thought. You see, you created government. You can just as well uncreated that which you have created. That's the solution that awaits you, but only you can implement it. You can't do it by imagination. You must act. Think about it. Look at the government that now declares itself to be your masters, when they are merely your servants, because you have created them and the institution which employs them. All of the hullabaloo of politics, the presidential campaigns, are fantasies, are illusions, are people who are as confused as you are, and they found power within the realm of the illusion that they seek to promote at election time. If you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, that's merely evidence of your Satanism. You hold to the Satanistic illusion of duality, and you create the hell that you experience every day of your life. I'm in this world with you, but I am not of it. That is clearly seen. That is clearly experienced in every one of my video offerings that may be seen on Vimeo YouTube, and BitChute. Real Video no longer will publish my videos. So be it. We all have free will. If you want to live in that kind of world, then do so. I have no problem with that, but I am talking to those of you who are able to grasp the truth, the simplicity of this Christ's word. He does not try to inveigle you in complicated theories, systems, and destroy your native intelligence. He applies to your wholeness, your completeness, your absolute holistic grasp of the truth, which is very simple and requires no machinations in order to be understood. That's what I offer you. It is time to uncreate the government that has made your life a hell. Destroy the system of deception based in duality, and you will discover the truth of what is meant by heaven on earth. Thank you for your attention.